So hello guys, welcome back to one of my videos. I hope you have enjoyed the rest of the videos. If you haven't yet not seen part of the videos I have created in this channel, please go to my YouTube channel and then start watching my videos where I speak a little bit more about other stuff, but definitely this I think will help you a lot. When we have different tasks, either on a project, at work, or in general in life, I think it's very common to ask ourselves, is this task important or is this task just urgent? I know that many of you have seen a lot of charts and lots of method or information regarding on how to prioritize a task when it's important and a task when it's urgent. Today videos, I'll try to focus more on giving you concepts and on what is important or what do we have to understand when it comes to important, and also what do we have to understand when it's in origin, because of course that's depend on your situation and the project that you're working on, the task that you're doing, and everything in between. But in general, we use today the principle of priority, which will help us to understand in a better way and an easy way as well when a task is important and when a task is urgent. So let's get started then. So I have this chart for you that I have created, and in this chart I just want to explain to you a little bit more about first the difference that you have to understand between important and between origins, task, project, situation. Let's start for important, and I have here specifically 6 components or six items that you always have to consider. Important focus on, or origin focus on, results, behavior, tools, planning, and feeling, which is important, or feelings in general. So when it comes to important, first of all, this kind of tasks or projects are goal oriented, so it's more long lasting period. They have a goal, you have a goal in life, you have a project, you want to finish your studies for at a certain time, specifically has a specific goal. Also, when it comes to that, the results that you will have will be an accomplishment or an achievement, because you have concluded a project, you have concluded your university, or you have concluded that task that you were assigned for. Another important thing in the behavior is that most of the time the behavior in this in the situation of important, it's a very personal stress, because most important things, or most important tasks, they are related to a personal stress level. So things that you can do by your own, even though if you're working with a team or if you're working with someone else, all that you have to identify in order for you to identify it is important or urgent is that most of the stress level will come from personal matters or will come specifically to you. So a good example of this is just an example, okay? An important task you have in the section of tools, you have more specific or more I would say different tools that you can use. For example, an important task, if you want to, let's say, write a book by the end of this year, yes, but just giving you a, an example. So but one of the tools that you will use for this important goal or this important task is to, for example, get education on that, or it is important for you to get some courses on how to write a book, just to give you an example. Another example would be that if you're working on a project and this project has urgent and important thing, the important tools or the task is something that you can delay. For example, it's not something you can plan a little bit longer, but you would use, for example, some courses to master or to reinforce your skills or the skills that people are working for you, kind of like that. Then most important thing is the planning type and important tasks are it can be weekly, monthly, or annually planning. So it doesn't have to be, and that's one of the rules, it doesn't have to be daily. That's one of the most important things when it comes to identifying important tasks. And most important here, it's the feeling when it comes to important task, activities, project, etc. It's satisfaction. Most of the time you will feel a lot of satisfaction. So now let's talk about origin stuff. When it comes to origin, you have something that it's important here. Well, the first thing that you have to identify is that it's more associated to action and tasks, daily tasks, specifically talking, something that you have to address at the moment, something that you really need to do this day, this week. It can be not specifically just daily, but let's say for the example, daily. Okay, which kind of results you will have by the end of an urgent task? Well, basically you will have task achieved or achievement. You will have completed something. Just to give you an example, send an important email, print a report, study for an exam that you will have on Friday, if we're today, for example, Monday. So one of the most important things is the behavior here is that this level of stress is controlled by other factors or other people as well. So, and the important things, it's more personal focused stress, but and the urgent thing is controlled by others. So a boss that asks you, hey, I want you to send this email by tomorrow, or I want you to print this report, or I want you to get this by yesterday. Those kind of stress. Also, when it comes to planning, I will skip this now, but I'll explain why. Planning, it has to be daily planning, so, or it has to be immediate planning at that moment, so you are able to kind of understand that it's more important, it's crucial to do so. And also here, the feeling, well, as the other thing, it's stress, a lot of stress, and sometimes frustration because there's a lot of things to do. Why tools are not here? Because tools are more associated to the tasks that you will do, like an email, the paper that you will use, etc. I want you to focus on this because the next part of the video, then I will explain to you once you have identified is it important what origin based on this, now you can apply the priority, the principle of priority. So now that we have understood what's important or how to identify an important task and an urgent task, I'd like to explain to you now in basic words, of course, how you can apply the ABC principle, which is part of the principle of priority. So first things first, you will have in this section an ABC structure, being 8 the tasks that are urgent to do, like right here, they are urgent to do. So, and they represent the 65% of your activities or your projects. So what's urgent? Now we know what's urgent, okay? Something that is stressful, something that is controlled by other ones, daily tasks, and everything in between. So you have to start for the urgent. Then you will start for the important things, like things that are goal-oriented, that the stress is more personal level stress, that you can plan on a weekly or monthly basis, for example. And finally, C will be the tasks that are not urgent and not important. I think this is easier to understand once you have understood the first chart that I present to you here. So let's apply that. Don't forget, first of all, you have to do the urgent stuff. Then you have to work on the importance, and finally the last. I hope this video has helped you to clarify a little bit more on how to prioritize. Of course, that depends on many factors. This is just a principle that can eventually lead you to take better decisions and everything in between. So I hope you have enjoyed, guys. Subscribe, likes, and see you in my next video. Bye.